I hate blonde-haired people, being a redhead myself.
I have nothing to add. Yo, this is getting out of hand. It's getting way too much over here. I'm turning into some kind of mafioso.
A misunderstood love? Actually, I had completely given up when Manoa came into the picture. Hey! Stop reading my mind. It must be the same for Cypher.
Oh, I should have talked to Selphie. And Irvine. Looks like talking to Kaitis is what advances things.
I'm sure Cypher has forgotten his childhood, too.
Yeah, if he remembered it, he'd want to murder us even more.
But whenever he sees squalls, his inner feelings start to boil, and...
Is that why he's always picking fights with Squall? Up to and including joining an organization that launched missiles at one of the gardens?
Why is it that we forgot? We grew up together as kids. How's that possible? How about this? For a bullshit reason. The price we pay for using the goof. The goof provides us its power. But the goof makes its own place inside our brain. Kind of like Jack Daniels.
So you're saying that area is where our memories are stored?
If you will recall, there's been one or two very fleeting references over the course of the game, which is now about halfway through, that some people have claimed GF is connected to memory loss. Those one or two fleeting references, which admittedly is better than them never raising it at all until this point, were put there to make this be a little less stupid when it happens.
No, that's just a rumor that goof critics are spreading. Fake news.
So if we keep relying on the goof, we won't be able to remember a lot of things?
That's sort of like a halfway between Zell and Irvine there.
There's no way Headmaster Sid would allow such a dangerous thing.
You have noticed that Headmaster Sid is an incompetent idiot, haven't you? Then how is it that I remember while everyone else has forgotten? It's your skull. Skull actually builds memory. Well, in my case, I hadn't junctioned to goof until recently. That's why I'm fucking terrible at combat compared to you guys. That's why I remember a lot more than you guys.
How about you, Selphie? We missed the chance to see what you would have said if Squall had talked to you before he talked to me, necessitating this entire sequence to be replayed on screen.
I'm not going to replay this entire sequence on screen.
Your first experience with goof was when you came to Ballum Garden, right? Yeah, but like I said, I had friends, so fuck you guys. I wouldn't bother to remember any of you. Yeah.
Okay, talking to Selphie might advance things now. Talking to Kaitis might advance things now. Zell is probably safe.
Is it because of the gift that we forget?
Is that... Again, I'm phasing into Irvine by the end of the sentence.
Is it because of the gift that we forget? Is that why other forces refrain from using goof?
And are incredibly ineffective against us? Because we can fight hundreds of Galbadian soldiers without having any difficulty? There are some things we're better off not remembering. For example, I'm glad Selphie has forgotten about some early dalliances, especially when your life revolves around battles.
We gave up on memories in exchange for power. I would rather have given up my morals.
And again, Renoa is apparently just like playing, basketball by herself, practicing her skyhook back in the ruins of Trabia.
Dance, dance, dance. I have a confession to make.
Uh-oh.
Dear Penthouse Magazine, I never thought it would happen to me. When I was 12, I went on an outdoor training session. I wasn't house trained, so they had to take me outdoors to poo. I found a GF inside one of the monsters I defeated. I junctioned that GF for a while, so I have experience with GF too.
Nah, okay, whatever. I was okay with her just saying that she met lots and lots of people and kind of buried her orphanage memories, but...
But, it's really weird. I can't remember the name of that GIF.
Well, knowing her, she probably called it, like, Rainbow Magic something.
It must be the GF's fault. What should we do? Let's kill our own GFs. Nah, I better save that premise for Final Fantasy X.
What should we do? Nothing. That's always the best course goal.
What do you mean, nothing?
The word is fairly widely recognized, Zell. So what do you want us to do? You want to stop using goof now? We'd actually get away with that better than normal based on the fact that we've power leveled, but no, it's still not a good idea. As long as we continue fighting, we're indebted to the powers of the Guff. You know, it's like, hey, I took cocaine and stayed up all night and wrote a screenplay. I'm going to use cocaine for the rest of my life. If there's a price I have to pay for that, I'll gladly pay it. We got to dominate those... Never mind. I was about to get really political, and it only had the most tenuous connection to what's happening here. But yes, the idea of surrendering your moral principles for power is the thing that happens.
Hey, I know. Let's all keep a diary.
Yeah, sounds pretty girly.
That way we'll always have something to remind us. There will always be something there to remind me.
Yeah, I think I messed up that song reference.
Are you sure that's what you want? You'd have to remember the time you sat on my bed when I told you not to. A terrible crime. Maybe that's for the best.
Yeah, Zell's not really a man of letters, is he?
Yeah, I don't care if I forgot about my childhood when Cypher used to pick on me. I just want to remember hot dogs and possibly the girl with pigtails. It's not clear whether I actually reciprocate her affection. What's important to me is having that power to protect my parents and Balam.
His dad is still alive, I guess.
They adopted me. There's no way I'm letting go of that power. He is Power Man.
Hey, are we ever going to get back to the main story? Do you all remember Matron?
Because, and that was why I was kind of like chuckling before, they weren't, they did an okay job overall. But yes, they definitely made it possible to do, and I didn't do this by design to show the game up or anything. I didn't remember. But they make it possible to do the Shumi Tribe quests before you get here. And just in a piece of throwaway dialogue during the Shumi Tribe quests, Selphie mentions Matron. We're about to see the scene that not only explains who Matron is, but represents the first time any of them, other than possibly Irvine, who is not the one who had a throwaway line about Matron, by the way, actually remembers who she was.
She was always wearing black. I think she thought it was kind of hot. Matron dressed in black.
Let me see. Yep, she definitely had a real runway walk quality. Well, let's see.
I see a resemblance. Matron, they look like...
You mean she looks like, since it's, one person?
Wait, I just pictured her face, and ... Very kind, long black hair. Yes, I really admired her. I could never have black hair. I always had blonde hair or red hair, depending on who you ask.
Because, yes, you can, if I fixate on a comment, I will, even if it was... I will bring it up for the next 20 years.
Look-alike. Nah, that's not it. Matron's name is Hidea Kramer.
Arguably, that's why he... not that... They never really raised this as a possibility. It's just me making my own conclusions. Unless he's about to say something about it that I forgot. It's just possible part of the reason Irvine had a big freak out when it was time to assassinate the sorceress is because possibly the first time he looked at her through the scope, that may have been the first time he realized, oh, fuck, I'm about to try to assassinate the woman who raised me. That's kind of messed up. And she never even had weird, angry speeches about no wire hangers to make it easy. Matron is Sorceress Hidea. Boom, boom, boom.
Cool music, by the way. Matron, Sorceress Hidea? So she's the bitch-ass whore who blew up Trabia? Well, fuck her then. I mean, I can't hurt her now. Why is the matron ... question mark?
Oh, the music just ends. Why? Because I like you. You're wondering why Matron would take over a country or fire missiles and whatnot? Guess that's a good question. Are we really sure that happened, or is that fake news? Part of the Antifa narrative. At this point, we probably wouldn't comprehend it even if we talked about it. Yeah, okay, yeah. It's confusing, so let's not try to figure it out. Good plan. You're probably right. He probably is. Hear me out. I recommend we go to Balam and do that little quest that we forgot to do for Zell. Maybe start the Chocobo Forest minigame. I mean, eventually, we do enough side quests. we'll be motivated to get going with the main story. Seed and Garden were all Matron's idea, right? Well, they weren't Sid's idea. That guy was being led around on a leash. And if you like that kind of thing, it's fine. I'm not a Seed. Yes, he is! What the fuck? He is! I guess we don't know that he is. If he was a student at Galbadia Garden who presumably have a Seed exam of some kind, and he never actually passed, then maybe he's not a Seed. This is the first time they're mentioning it. And it seems kind of messed up that the one person Galbadia Garden would give us for a mission, which, you know, Galbadia Garden a little fishy. Don't seem to be exactly aligned with Balam Garden. But it's clear they wanted that assassination against the sorceress to succeed. You'd think they would have given us a Seed and not a Seed wannabe. But anyway, I guess we're finding out he's not a Seed. I'm not a Seed, but I share the same feelings with all of you. If I were a Seed, using contraceptives or abortion to prevent me from... that would be a terrible crime. JG decides to just keep pushing that political angle, because you can always alienate and anger somebody for no good reason during your fantasy RPG. Seeds are supposed to fight the sorcerers, right? Facepalm. This is strange. That's right. It was when I was being tortured by Cypher. He wanted to know what Seed was. Matron should know. But Matron is Sorceress Zendaya. There's no denying that. Would make it rather difficult to have a chat with her. What does this all mean? You know who should be telling us? Frickin' Sid! Sid clearly knows more than he's telling. Make Sid talk. It's like... I enjoyed the Harry Potter book series. I mean, bearing in mind, as you find little flaws and things you don't like about it, unless you're like really fired up about some of the socio-political stuff that's come out since, like, you know, what's her name? The author, can't remember her name, Rowling. Yeah, I mean, one of the richest women in the world. It's not like she hasn't earned people remembering her name. But yeah, like recently in the news, some people are making a lot of hay out of the fact that she is not as woke about transgender issues as some people might have hoped. But like, you kind of got to go outside of the books before you start finding stuff to object to. Generally, it's like a long, reasonably well-told story, bearing in mind it's targeted at kids. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah, my big frustration throughout the whole series, it kind of happens sort of vaguely near the, you know, in the second half of the series, but, and I guess narratively it wouldn't work if this happened, so you can't beat up on a narrative that works and maintains tension and mystery for not giving away the game early. But there's so many points where Harry just needed to grab Dumbledore by the lapels, shake the old man and throttle him and yell, "Tell me what the fuck is going on!" Because Dumbledore knows what's going on, and Harry never finds out anything the easy way. So this is kind of similar. It's like, and Sid isn't even the most powerful, like, good wizard in the world who could, like, turn you into a newt for doing that. He even gave us full control over Garden. Somebody needs to just grab Sid and be like, tell us what the fuck is going on. And although I think that is where things are going, and I vaguely recall that this whole bit of dialogue is kind of what pushes the party to take that track, they probably should have jumped to this conclusion logically quite a while ago. Squall certainly really should have pushed harder to get Sid to explain what the hell's going on. Because I know I had a little bit of disagreement's the wrong word. I had somebody clarify to me in the comments that, okay, Squall should know that Adia was always a sorceress because Sid said so. But the big overarching question is, well, why the fuck did it not have some follow-up questions for that? What does this all mean? Squall, you listening? I mean, Jesus, man. Well, it's not like Squall had like a 6-line monologue internally. He just kind of thought one thing to himself without immediately. Selphie and Zell and Kaitis, frankly, all appear to be staring off into space at this point. Zell kind of looking at Irvine. So, like, this is what I wanted to say. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Selfie, I've had a thing for you since I was way too small to really act on it. And, probably that's not what I'm thinking right now. I understand what Renault was saying. Maybe we should pull her back into the story, because it's been like about an hour's worth of us talking and her not being involved. Matter of fact, I really got to make sure I'm still recording. This is a pretty long video. Yeah, it's still going. I'm going to have to split this one into 3. Divided into 3? Understand, but I'm still going to fight. I want to stay true to everything I've stood for. And I stand for quality used cars at low, low prices. I'm sure it's the same for everyone. That's why I thought it'd be best if everyone knew we would have to face Matron. Okay, that follows. I'll give him that. It's kind of weird he's been sitting on this for all this time. Without going into details, I've certainly had experiences that cancer is one of them. God, how to break that to people like work acquaintances, you know? Like people that I have a personal relationship, but it's not like family level. When do you let people know what's going on with you? When are you getting into too much personal? And the longer you go without making a decision, the weirder it's going to be if you finally decide to tell them. And other similar things in my life where it's like, well, the longer you go without, mending a bridge or tackling something difficult, the harder it is. And then sometimes the snap decision, I need to let this person know this right away. And you immediately find out, probably they never needed to know about that. But yeah, so Irvine probably should have told us a while ago. But I get how if he had reasons for not wanting to go into this, finding out, seeing Trebia Garden devastated by missiles, maybe there's some part of him thought, maybe, we won't have to fight Matron. Now that he's seen Trebia Garden destroyed by missiles, he probably figures, okay, we're going to have to fight Matron. But I don't think it's fair that I'm the only one who knows that. Not because he wants to shoulder the load by himself, but he just doesn't want these guys in ignorance to do something that might be really personally damaging to them if they ever do figure out who Matron is on their own. So the more I endlessly talk in circles about this, the more I'm convincing myself some of the ideas and concepts here aren't terrible. But at the end of the day, you boil it down to mass amnesia with an incredibly cursory explanation behind it is kind of lame. If you're going to have mass amnesia amongst your characters, there needs to be a pretty strong plot reason for it, and it probably needs to be central to the plot, not GFs make you forget, which is why we went through half the game without anyone knowing all this information. You've all heard this before. The alternate, of course, is that you don't decide that they all grew up in the same orphanage because it's kind of dumb and doesn't really add anything. Our life has infinite possibilities. I don't believe that one bit. I mean, why not, Irvine? You appear to be a white male. He's probably supposed to be a Japanese male cowboy, but there weren't many paths for me to choose. Sometimes there would only be one. But I usually took that one path. From the limited possibilities I faced, the choices I have made have brought me this far, to being arguably, probably the least likable member of this team. That's why I value the path I chose, because I didn't really have a choice. Huh? I want to hold true to the path that had to be taken. Okay. I know our opponent is Matron, whom we all love very much. Well, now we do, because you made us remember, you jerk. We might lose something very important on account of the goof. But I don't mind. It's not like I drifted here on the tides of fate. No, Irvine, you can't have it both ways. You just got done telling us you had extremely limited choices and sometimes only one. And now you're trying to act like you didn't drift here because of the tides of fate. You don't get both sides of that coin, buddy. I'm here because I chose to be here, on the incredibly rare occasions where I had any kind of choice. And more importantly, we all grew up together. You know, if almost 90 minutes ago Irvine had just made some clumsy pass at Selfie and then we'd moved back into controlling the characters and moving the game forward, I might have been okay with that too. But due to various circumstances, we were all separated. You gotta keep them separated. As a kid, you couldn't really go out on your own. There were no other paths to take. All I did was just cry. But somehow we're together again, just like old times, though a lot's changed. We're not kids anymore. We're strong enough to take care of ourselves. We take care of our own. And Renoa's like, wait, where have you guys been the last few hours? Literally, it's been well over an hour. You've all just been kind of staring off into space while I stood here. Make our own decisions. We're confronting a big one right now. I don't think literally they were all in some kind of shared flashback. Obviously, that was a visual representation of what they were thinking of while having a conversation. But that aesthetic choice does make it kind of seem that Renoa just kind of spaced out for the last hour and a half. Did we fight Matron or not? And Selphie's like, fuck yeah, she blew up Trebia. I say we fight. I say we fight. Shoot for a common goal. Hey, at least it'll keep us together a little longer. Maybe long enough for me to get Selphie to hike that skirt up another quarter of an inch. Yeah, let's do it. We can't run from her for the rest of our lives. It wouldn't make for a very interesting game anyway. That was kind of the plot of the first 2/3 of Final Fantasy XIII, and that was a piece of shit.
It's just a bummer. I can't believe we have to fight Matron.
Selphie, you really should be the most on board out of all of us. Like, why Matron is doing this is a question we haven't really gotten to the bottom of yet. But she blew up the frickin', like, kind of school/city that you spent your whole life in.
I know, but Cell's right. We can't run from her forever. Doing stupid Chocobo Forest minigames.
That's coming, folks. Renoa, you're still here? It's up to you. Well, as far as giving direct orders to myself, Zell, and Selphie, a technicality that we've long since forgotten about, we're gonna fight. I think it's the only way we can move on with our lives. The game basically stalls if we just go around playing, Triple Triad or whatever the hell it's called. I think it's Triple Triad. Is it Triple Triad in this game? Or the next game? Whatever. If that makes any sense at all, come with us. But if you think I'm talking rubbish, go back to Timber and continue failing like crazy in your stupid little daddy issues war. Oh, I'm sorry. That was supposed to be inner monologue. I wasn't supposed to say that out loud. I'm sure that's what everybody wants. Yeah, woo!
Okay, thanks for putting me on the spot in front of everybody. That's great. Look! A gift from the fairies!
No, that's nuclear fallout, actually. Yo, you want to go check out Idea's orphanage? How did I find these fucking magazines and, Tim Manny that's supposed to be here?
I wonder what it's like now. Do you suppose it's been devastated by missiles? A thing I really seem to have gotten over very quickly.
We might find a clue. That would be a nice change of pace.
Clue? You mean as to why Matron turned out like this? Perhaps it was the stress of raising us brats.
Probably has something that happened in the past, but the past is the past. It's over, done with. And immediately everyone turns on Squall, who dared to think a thought that he didn't voice aloud and said, "We can't understand unless you speak." Despite what truth we find, it's not going to change the present. Oh, except that we got alone, actually. Now that I think about it, it's not a spoiler, but yeah, in theory, that could be where the whole story's going, right? We got time travel, Alone's weirdness. It's not clear whether she can affect the future, but she seems to be trying. Yeah, and Alone had to be at the same orphanage too, right? I think they made that clear. She was everybody's big sister, but Squall kind of hogged her. But I want to see too. I want to see. I don't know what we'll find, but let's head for Squirrel. You know, I have a bad habit of explaining all my references, but if anybody really wants to know at least which LP to go to, if they feel like watching an entire LP to find out why I'm saying squirrel, I'll go that far in the comments if you're interested. Irvine with a particularly goofy and weird post. Did Renoa ever actually answer? Okay, she's going to answer the squall. I was about to ask, is it possible to continue without talking to her, but apparently not. I guess that's it, we're fighting. Or possibly, I guess that's it, we're fighting.
You guys are fearless.
No, I have an unexplained fear of chihuahuas, which frankly hasn't arisen. Fearless, I don't think that's quite right. I can't hear your thoughts! If you think too hard, you become lost. I think that's what everyone's afraid of. I wish we didn't have to fight either. I wish I could just grab you by that sweet blue denim-covered bum, dance the night away, while occasionally pouring wine directly into my eyeball.
I think it's over. I think it's over. I think I can save.
Okay. Let's see. I would dearly like to get a chance to do Junction Exchange here, because I kind of want to get... yeah, I want to get Renoa back, because that was my party I was actually using. And, yeah. Alright, well that video is ridiculously long, but I need to find someplace where I'm allowed to land. Then I can save. If I can remember how buttons work. I think at this point I may have saved over every slot where I'm not already fully leveled up to 100 with everybody, so I hope I don't come to regret that. But for me, this has been one crazy 90-minute video. But I know there's little stuff. That was the main plot reason you have to come here. I know there's little stuff we missed, though. In addition to those magazines, I remember a cute little scene where you can find personnel records, and if you try to get selfies, she stops you.
Selfie's back. I hung out with her for a bit. Selfie just seems to give off a burst of energy, doesn't she?
But, yeah, there's like a... Oh, you know, please donate the Trivia Garden Fund.
Good day for cards.
Might as well. So I can do it on screen once if I have to go back and do it off screen again because I replayed Odin. Fine. Sped up, knowing exactly where to go and not voice acting the dialogue. I'm sure I can get through that 3-video monster exposition session without it taking that long. But yeah, there you see. Thankfully, she played the selfie card the first time out. Selfie does not appear to be capable of taking Cypher if I put him here, so let's hope she stupidly plays selfie right away. She does. Yeah, that was kind of dumb. That was kind of dumb. I think said I'm not going to bother to try to flip selfie. I'll just... Oh, damn it, JG. I hate when I do that. I wasn't paying enough attention to if anybody had something strong enough to overpower her weakest exposed side. So I can't get... I gotta fix this. This is not going right. But she's just gonna flip them both back. Yeah, I just lost. I'm gonna lose every card. Okay, so this is like pandemonium all over again. I'm not going to bother, certainly not on screen, to get all this back. But crap, my notion of winning that one on screen so you guys can see it, well, I can still do it. I just have to wuss out and load rather than actually dealing with my rather than like finding a semi-honorable way to deal with that failure. It's like, nah, That's one of those failures that's going to take way too long to fix. And I would be able to eventually fix it. It would just be a big pain in the butt. Now watch her not play Selfie. Okay, she still played Selfie. She actually does quite the favor by playing Selfie first. So we can flip Selfie, which they can't flip back. And their hand is weaker this time. They can't even flip Zell back, so yeah. I shouldn't have lost that last one, but I really, really don't have a way to lose this one without just being terrible. There we go, that's more like it. I'm just vaguely curious.
Selfie, let's go to that coffee shop and have lots of cheesecake again. Oh, you mean the one that was destroyed by missiles? Woohoo, yeah, definitely. You know, if it ever gets rebuilt after it was destroyed by missiles.
So I'm just curious, who will I end up playing next time? And it looks like... Well, Selfie is obviously going to trump Pandemona, so... Alright, Selfie considered a weaker card than Kaitis. Interesting. But yeah, from here on out, assuming I load every time I lose an all cards lost game where I play my 5 best cards, it's all playable characters, with Cypher being the oddball because will never be playable again. Okay, so somewhere in here, and I'm about 98%... We're back from our patrol! Hey, there's citizens on patrol. Nick Steve isn't here yet.
I think he overslept again.
Okay, I didn't realize there was going to be a bunch of fun, optional... Hey, even slips in the missile incident. It's like they're building up a character that we'll never meet and it doesn't matter.
Do it for Trabia.
Well, why doesn't he do his basic job for Trabia? Whoever he is. Alright, but so I'm about 98% sure that we did not lose out on the magazines and whatnot by having not found them before we triggered the big dialogue scene. So, off-screen, I may or may not record anymore tonight. I don't know why I always update you guys on that. It doesn't affect you at all. But, yeah, I'll either just, like, figure out how to get triple and sacrifice whatever resources are required, or I may end up having to go through that whole bit again off-screen just to get the triple. But, either way, the next time, my voice cracked here. The next time, we beat dear friend. Oh, I do have a save where we're not at level 100. I probably want to hold on to that. It's like 16 hours ago at this point, but just in case. Anyway, yeah. So the next time I will either have 100 triple, or some kind of concrete plan for how I'm going to get 100 triple, which I can't do quite yet, but we'll be able to do soon. And we will definitely going to want to go figure out what the hell's going on at the orphanage. Pretty sure that's where the plot has us going now. So when we get there, that'll again be like many minutes of exposition. And I think after that, our next destination becomes the point of no return for Disc 2. With the possible exception of this little thing I forgot to do in Balam, I don't think any of the stuff that we didn't bother yet to do in, like, Dalit or Windhill is something that has to be done by the end of Chapter 2. Probably want to go see if we can do the Windhill, or at least I'll take the time and I'll read the fact page about optional content in Windhill. The story never makes our main party go to Windhill, which is where Laguna and Kyros had their Monster Patrol adventure, and we found out some background on Laguna, and I think her name is Rain, and Young Alone. We never have to go there, but we can go there. There's actually no place in the game that Laguna and his crew visit that the main party can't find, although several of the places that they go to in their adventures don't really have anything in particular for you to do as Squall and crew. But they're all there somewhere, and that includes Windhill, which actually does have little optional side quests with piddling little rewards. It's all fine. When we come back next time, though, I'll try to keep my live initial recording under 90 minutes. See you then.